A creepy pervert gropes a schoolgirl on the subway and gets wrecked by an invisible man. Not the kind of storyline you were expecting, right? Hey everyone, it's been a while since we've had a proper comedy recommendation. A wildly popular new live-action adaptation of a shoujo manga just dropped and it's hilarious. Even as a tough, manly dude myself, I couldn't stop watching. I have to recommend this one to y'all. Let's get straight into it. This gloomy-looking girl, that's our main character, Nishino Kanako, a woman who's been out of work for days. She's been to tons of interviews and failed them all. She can't even afford rent anymore. If things keep going like this, she'll be forced to move back home and live off her parents. But just as she's about to give up, a message pops up on her phone: an interview invite from Smile Agency Incorporated. Clinging to her last hope, she heads over right away. She tries to impress the interviewer with all her work experience, but the company president cuts straight to the chase. "We're a hitman agency. Can you kill people?" Cue Kanako's internal drama spiral. Turns out, she got her first job right out of college at a brutal, black-hearted ad agency. She only lasted 3 years, but it felt like 9. She did everything front-end dev, full stack, janitor, sales. No job was beneath her. She got gaslit, screamed at, completely crushed by her toxic boss. Eventually, she had no choice but to quit, but she's still a sweet, innocent girl. Going from corporate hell straight into a killer-for-hire gig? Yeah, no thanks. That's when the president calmly sips his coffee and drops the real bomb.
土日休み。当然残業代で初任給は60万から勤務は10時やるか？
すごいホワイト。やります。
We offer a 10 a.m. start, 7 p.m. finish, weekends off, overtime pay, full benefits. Kanako's brain short circuits. This is the kind of job she's only heard about in myths. Then they escort her to an abandoned construction site for her initiation test. The president wasn't blunt with Nishino Kanako for no reason. He'd already figured her out inside and out. Kanako lost her father young and grew up relying on her mother, who worked part-time at a supermarket. Right after graduating college, she entered a soul-crushing black company and survived 3 years of non-stop workplace abuse. Most of her co-workers either developed depression or, worse, she only made it out because of her insanely strong mental fortitude. And with all her recent interviews ending in failure, she was exactly the kind of desperate soul they were looking for. And the target for her entry test? None other than her former toxic boss. As the president continued listing off reasons why that scumbag deserved to die, Kanako pulled the trigger. One shot.
もう撃ったのか？
でももう当たっちゃった。じゃあ次、あっちにいる人。
The president froze mid-sentence, stunned. He didn't even get the chance to start the training. She skipped the tutorial like a pro, and her kill was clean. Efficient, too clean. He hired her on the spot. That night, at her welcome party, Kanako was absolutely hyped. A few drinks in and she was shouting, "Being a hitman is so damn fun." Luckily, her innocent looks meant no one would ever suspect her. The next morning though, the hangover kicked in along with a bit of regret. Kanako decided to quit, but the president, staring at the mission report, was deep in thought. Long range, adjusted for wind speed, perfect headshot. He couldn't stop praising her. Kanako wasn't just good, she was a once-in-a-generation natural-born killer.
天才だな。
She was floored. No one had ever praised her before, not in school, not at work. Her heart soared. She admitted she learned to shoot from online tutorials, built her strength from years of overtime, and had mastered the art of going unnoticed thanks to endless meetings with her yelling ex-boss. And now, she had her first official job handed directly to her. The target? A man who looked harmless on the outside, but lured college girls into shady part-time gigs and attacked them in remote areas. His family's connections helped him dodge the law time and time again. That was all Kanako needed to hear. Her righteous fury ignited. She tracked him to a pedestrian bridge where he was already chatting up a college girl. He even got her contact info. Kanako stormed over, ready to strike but froze at the last second. That's when the two jerks gave her a brutal score, rating her looks way below average. Disrespecting women like that? Kanako activated her invisible mode, slipped through the crowd, caught up to the man, and struck him with a poison needle, clean, silent, and deadly. Then she vanished without a sound, leaving no trace behind. At first, The president wasn't entirely confident in Kanako, so he secretly sent his trusted right-hand man, Sakurai, to tail her. If Kanako screwed up the mission, Sakurai would not only finish the job, he'd take her out too. But clearly, she pulled it off just fine. The next day, the president assigned Kanako to assist Sakurai on a new mission, taking down an illegal underground gambling den. Sakurai, cold as ice. The only thing he said to her was some version of "I'll kill you." Still, he was lightning fast, highly skilled, and always charging into the fray first. He completed the mission like a pro while also subtly protecting Kanako the entire time. Problem was, this was Kanako's first time seeing a full-scale operation in action. She panicked, flailed, and ended up getting in the way more than helping. Sakurai lost it. "Stop getting in the damn way!" he yelled. Kanako, feeling like a useless burden again, spiraled back into her insecurities. Frustrated and hurt, she activated her stealth mode once more. Once Sakurai finished the fight, he looked around. Kanako was gone. Suddenly, she reappeared right behind him, completely silent. Turns out, she didn't want to mess things up, so she had glued herself to his back the entire time. Even Sakurai, a top-tier assassin, hadn't noticed. Kanako's ability to go unnoticed was next level. On the way back, she started stewing. If it's just about picking people off one by one, I can totally do that. Without warning, she pulled out a silenced pistol and pointed it at Sakurai. He instantly sensed the shift in air pressure, classic elite instinct. But Kanako wasn't ordinary. She'd mastered the art of slacking off without getting caught, from grade school to her office days. You couldn't catch her even if you tried. And just like that, they drove back. Just as they were heading back, some of the thugs from the casino came chasing after them. Seeing trouble coming fast, Sakurai pulled out his gun and told Kanako to handle it. But before he could even finish his sentence,
次からはちゃんと見て撃ちます。前の上司に言われたことは3秒以内にやれって言われてたのでつい。
Once again, Sakurai was speechless. Turns out, her old boss used to scream at her constantly, "Finish any task in under 3 seconds. So now, it's a reflex. She acts before she even thinks. But 3 murders in quick succession? Yeah, the police had to step in, though her ex-boss's death was professionally staged to look like a suicide. Detective Kazuo Takara wasn't buying it. Looking at the timing and style of the other 2 cases, he was convinced there was a highly skilled assassin at work. What he didn't know was that the killer was a woman who spent her weekends watching children's cartoons in her pajamas, Nishino Kanako. At that very moment, Kanako was enjoying her first ever peaceful weekend off. But Monday came fast. At a convenience store, she ran into a notorious small-time extortionist. Her killer instincts flared up, but the whole thing turned into a comedy of errors. Then, while crammed into a subway, she got groped by yet another sleazy pervert, a guy who looked down on women and kids, thinking he was the pillar of modern society.
通勤時間にガキ連れてきてよ。金も稼げねえ女子供は家から出ないでほしいな。で、お前も失礼だよ。
Kanako's justice-fueled rage burned hot. She ran back to the office and asked the president if she could eliminate the guy. But the agency doesn't do charity work. No money, no kill. Defeated, she slumped into a chair to eat lunch. Sakurai was just picking up his soup.
いただきます。
And Kanako had already wolfed down her entire meal. The president and Sakurai were stunned again. Apparently, her black-hearted ex-boss demanded lunch be finished in 5 seconds. Now it's second nature. Later, Sakurai headed up to the rooftop. Watching Kanako's innocent energy, he couldn't shake the feeling she didn't belong in this line of work. He tried to tell her to quit, but before he could finish, Kanako launched into a heartfelt drama scene, inspired by a senior. "I'm breaking the mold. I'm chasing my dreams. I'm taking control of my destiny." Next thing you know, she was out investigating the extortionist's past. Turns out he'd blackmailed multiple shops. Using her old sales tricks, she even landed a contract to kill him. Then she set her sights on the subway pervert, determined to find a client and take that job too. The president couldn't help but ask Sakurai, "What the hell did you say to her?" That night, Kanako went to the extortionist's house, but she didn't have much experience, hesitating between releasing gas or using a tranquilizer. Just as she was about to call Sakurai for advice, the guy made another call to blackmail someone else. The more she listened, The angrier she got, she stormed inside just as the guy got up to use the bathroom and light a cigarette. The whole scene had gone a bit off script, but in the end Kanako had completed her very first solo kill. Of course, it blew up in the news, so back at HQ, the president tore into her with a proper yelling. On her way home, Kanako bumped into someone unexpected: Kiyomi Yoshioka, her old middle school student council president and former role model. Turns out, Kiyomi is now a homeroom teacher at a junior high, but she confided that she often feels like she's always falling short of what she hoped to be. Kanako got it. She knew that feeling all too well. They immediately clicked, encouraged each other, and Kanako walked away feeling like she mattered again. Next up, Kanako joined Sakurai on the mission to take out the subway pervert. And what do you know, the creep made a move again right there in the train car. Kanako's rage was instant. She was ready to take him out on the spot. Sakurai grabbed her, hissing that this was not the time or place. But Kanako remembered every moment of humiliation she'd endured. She refused to let behavior like that continue for even a second longer. She was calm, confident, and she went invisible. As the train roared into the station, that twisted pervert took his final breath. That very night, it hit the news, but after combing through the footage there wasn't a single trace of her. The president sighed deeply and decided to let her do things her way. He'd originally started this business just for money, but now, training a legendary assassin was way more fun.
お前は伝説になれ。俺は今まで生きるためだけにこの仕事をしてきた。だが最近じゃお前の成長がささやかな楽しみになってる。そのためのリスクなら背負ってやる。
Kanako, for the first time in her life, felt truly seen, truly valued. From that point on she killed joyfully, freely, with zero guilt, and even a little excitement. One day, Nishino Kanako was sent by the agency to a Yakuza group to accept a commission on the company's behalf. As she watched the gang leader methodically twist and snap an enemy's fingers one by one, she was absolutely terrified. Nearly out of her mind, the Yakuza boss turned around and asked the girl on the sofa, "Who are you?" This was a man who had seen countless storms in the underworld, yet he took off his sunglasses just to get a better look at the nervous young girl in front of him. He was clearly skeptical, but the name Smile Agency carried weight on the streets. It turned out the assassination on the subway committed in plain view of the public had become an urban legend. Rumor had it that Smile Agency employed a top-tier assassin known only by the codename K. The gang boss insisted that this mission must be handled by K personally, and he was even willing to pay double. Of course, K was just the initial of Nishino Kanako's name. The realization that she had become a street legend made Kanako a little smug. Later, when she went out to eliminate one of the gang's enemies, she shot the target, but instead of finishing him off, she started asking if he'd ever heard stories about a legendary hitman.
すごい腕前で、すごいかっこよくて。
Desperate to stay alive, the man under her very leading tone pretended he had. This combination of mental pressure and physical injury nearly broke him. In the end, Sakurai arrived and finished the job. The poor guy had truly suffered. On another day, Kanako was out shopping and having lunch with Kiyomi Yoshioka when her phone rang. It was Detective Kazuo Takehara, calling to ask about leads related to her former toxic boss. Panic surged inside Kanako, though she tried her best to stay calm. But then, Takehara's female partner went straight to the point. "Where were you on the day your boss died?" Kanako gave the answer she'd prepared in advance at home, watching Deadly Rangers, a kids' superhero show. The detectives were stunned. Kanako thought she was caught for sure, so she admitted it outright. "It was me." But instead of treating that as a confession, Takehara's eyes lit up. He believed her line was a quote, one of the villain's catchphrases from an episode of Deadly Rangers. Turns out, he's a hardcore fan too. Without realizing it, He accidentally gave her the perfect out, but his female partner was left completely speechless, and just like that, Kanako dodged another bullet. Later on, at a fan signing event for Deadly Rangers, Kanako unexpectedly ran into Detective Kazuo Takara again, who, as it turned out, was a huge fan of the show. Realizing they shared the same quirky interests, Detective Takara took the initiative and asked her out on a date. It was the first time anyone had ever asked Kanako out. She was stunned and thrilled. Over the next few days, she threw herself into intense weight loss and beauty routines, determined to look her absolute best on date day. Sakurai, ever the supportive, if grumpy, mentor, trained with her daily sparring, running, coaching. On the day of the date, Kanako was all set, but before she could go, there was one last mission to complete. The Yakuza boss from before was scheduled to meet with a rival gang to negotiate a hostage exchange. Kanako and Sakurai were tasked with protecting the operation from the shadows, but during the stakeout, Kanako let her guard down for just a moment. A sniper from the enemy gang took the shot and Sakurai jumped in to shield her. Seeing her senior take a bullet for her sparked something deep in Kanako. Her eyes turned red, her energy spiked. She snapped. With a blur of motion, she teleported toward the sniper and took him down instantly. Then she blinked again, this time straight to the rival gang boss, and eliminated him in one strike. Then, she wiped out the rest of the gang's henchmen in one wild, furious rush. Her earlier kills could have been chalked up to luck or beginner's instinct, but this was full-on manga-level madness. Then again, it is based on a manga, so hey, we'll allow a little exaggeration. After the carnage, a shaken Kanako still showed up for her date hard heavy. At the same time, Detective Kazuo Takara finally arrived after reviewing days' worth of surveillance footage. Kanako wasn't really in the mood anymore, and just then, Sakurai appeared too, wounds patched up, ready to protect her once again. Seeing Takara, Sakurai assumed the detective was here to confront Kanako, so he immediately stepped forward and issued a quiet, sharp warning.
俺の女に手出すな。
And that wraps up the first 3 episodes of Nishino Kanako's wild and unexpectedly wholesome assassin life. There are 10 episodes in total, each only about 20 to 30 minutes long. As of now, the rest haven't been released yet. If you're enjoying this series, hit that like button, and I'll keep the updates coming when new episodes drop.